Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the course of complex variables and transform, and this is our lecture number 1. Now, introduction. A complex number is a number that can be expressed in the form of a plus bi, or you can say that a plus b iota, where a and b are the real numbers and I is basically the imaginary unit. Because of that imaginary unit, b is basically converting into a complex number. So a complex number basically have two parts, a and b, where a is known as the real part of the complex number and b is known as the imaginary part. Complex analysis, traditionally known as the theory of the function of the complex variables, and it is the branch of mathematical analysis that investigates the functions of the complex numbers. It is useful in many branches of the mathematics as well as in physics, including hydrodynamics and thermodynamics, and also in the engineering fields such as nuclear, aerospace, mechanical, electrical engineering. In fluid mechanics, which is also a core subject of the mechanical engineering, a complex number or the complex theory has a major contribution in modeling of the aerofoils. Now, applications of the complex theory and the complex numbers in mechanical engineering. The concept of the complex theory and organ plane is very useful in construction of the cars and 2D designing of the cars. So the application also involves in the planning and the designing department of the engineering fields. It is also very useful in cutting tools. Another possibility to use the complex numbers in simple mechanics might be to use them to represent the rotations as well. Here these are the examples in various fields of the engineering where this theory is used. It is used in the aerofoils. It is also used in the control systems and control theory, which is also a core subject of mechanical engineering. Then it is used in quantum mechanics as well, which is related with the physics, in theory of relativity also, fluid mechanics and heat flow. These two are also the main subjects of mechanical engineering. Now, what is control theory? A control theory is an interdisciplinary branch of the engineering and the mathematics that deals with the behavior of the dynamical systems with inputs and how its behavior modified by the feedback. Here, a control system, a closed loop system with the feedback has been given. Here, this is basically the reference, and this is basically the Maillard error, and this is basically your controller. Controller is basically giving the input to your system. As a result of that input, your system is performing some kind of output. Here the output goes back to the sensor, which measures the output, and after the measurement of the output, if that is according to our demand, that is again fed to the controller. If that is not according to our demand, then here is basically the error. Error is given to the controller modifies the error, and then it again gives the correct input to our system. So this is basically the control theory, and it is based upon the principle of complex variables and their transforms. Control theory. An example of the control system is the car's cruise control. Like many of the automatic cars have the cruise control button. When you push the button of the cruise control, your speed is basically fixed. Now you basically remove the foot from the pedal, but the car would maintain the speed. This is basically the cruise control in the cars. Now in the example of the cruise control, which is a device that is designed to maintain the vehicle speed as a constant desired or the reference speed provided by the driver. Like you can set any value for the speed like 100, 120, 130. The controller is basically the cruise control, the plant which is plant in the car, and the system is the car and the cruise control. The system output is basically the car's speed, and the control itself is the engine throttle piston position, which determines how much power is basically engine generates. So when you push the cruise control and you remove the foot, basically the controller inside the cruise will maintain basically the throttle, how much fuel is needed to maintain this specific speed. So this is an example of the control system. Now the control theory. The robust control deals explicitly with uncertainty in its approach to control the design. Controller designed use robust control method tends to able to cope up the smaller differences between the true system and the nominal models used for the design. Automation or the automatic control is the use of various control systems for operating the equipments such as machinery, processes in the factories, boilers, heat, treating ovens, switching in telephone networks, steering and stabilizing of the ships, aircrafts and other applications. So control theory is also basically related with the robotics and the automatic robots just you are seeing in this picture. They are highly equipped with the sophisticated control system which basically perform the automated function. So the inputs are basically in the form of complex numbers. Aerofoil. The Joukowsky transform was named after the scientist's name, and it is the conformal map historically used to understand the sum principle of aerofoil design. A large amount of the airfoil theory has been developed by distorting the flow around the cylinder to flow around the aerofoil. The essential features of the distortion is that the potential flow being distorted end up and also as the potential flow. The most common conformal transformation is the Joukowsky transformation, which is given by the relation z is equals to epsilon plus 1 over epsilon, where epsilon is equals to x plus iota n. It is a basically complex number or the complex variable in the original space. So what is an aerofoil is basically just like your aeroplane wing, where the speed test and the air drag and air lift is basically determined for the aircrafts to design them. Now the theory of relativity. The general relativity theory is one of the two pillars of the modern physics, and it is also known as the general theory of the relativity, and it was given by Albert Einstein in 1915. The general relativity generalized special relativity and Newton's law of the universal gravitation. It's providing a unified description of the gravity as a geometric property of space and time or space-time. You can use both space and time, or you can take one of the variables, space or time. Now relativity, as it has been shown here on a CAD drawing. In special and general relativity theory, some formulas for the metric on space-time become simpler if one takes out the time variables to be the imaginary. There is no longer standard in the classical relativity theory, but it is used essential way in the quantum field theory. Here basically an area has been shown where some of the variables are changing with respect to this weight. This weight is basically shown like an earth. So one of the variable is taken as the imaginary variable for the simplification of the values. So this is basically the involvement of the complex theory in the theory of relativity. Now in quantum mechanics. Quantum mechanics, it provides a mathematical description of much of the dual particles like wave-like behavior and the interactions of the energy and the matter. A complex number field is basically very relevant in the mathematical formulation of the quantum mechanics, where the complex Hilbert space provides the context for one such formulation that is convenient and perhaps the most standard. Here is the formula. The original foundation of the formula of the quantum mechanics was the Schrodinger's equation and the Heisenberg's matrix. Both use the complex numbers for the modeling. Expressing wave function as a complex number, so the idea was to express the phase of the plane wave as a complex phase factor. Here epsilon xt is equals to a e raised to power iota kx minus wt. So again this wave complex factor is also in the form of complex number. Now what is imaginary unit? We cannot take the square root of any negative number. You can take the square root of any real positive number like 2, 3, 4, 5 and so on, but for a negative number you cannot take the square root. If you use the imaginary unit, you can. So how you can use the imaginary unit to take the square root of a negative number? For example, if you have the square root of minus 1, so minus 1 under root is basically equals to iota or the imaginary unit. Now the property of the square root of a negative number. If r is a real positive number and here with the negative sign, and you are basically required to have the square root of this number, how will you take the square root? You can also treat it as like minus 1 multiplied by r under root. So r under root becomes just like that, and minus 1 under root will becomes iota. So minus r under root would be equals to iota into r under root. Like if in place of r you have negative 3 under root, so it would become iota into under root 3, and if you have minus 4 under root, it would become iota into under root 4, where under root 4 is equals to 2, so the final value is 2 iota. Powers of iota. As we know that iota I is equals to minus 1 of under root, then iota square is equals to minus 1. Iota cube is equals to minus iota. Iota raised to power 4 is equals to 1 iota, 1, which is a real positive number. Iota raised to power 5 is equals to iota. Iota raised to power 6 is equals to minus 1. Iota raised to power 7 is equals to minus iota, and iota 8 is equals to 1. So here you can see that if iota raised to power n is any kind of a complex number and we divided it by 4, if the answer is, if n is evenly divisible, if this power is evenly divisible by 4, you can have even answer like 2, 4, 6, then iota raised to power n is equals to 1. If there is a remainder 1, iota raised to power 1 is equals to iota raised to power n is equals to iota. If the remainder is 2, iota raised to power n is equals to minus 1, and if remainder is 3, iota raised to power n is equals to minus iota. These are basically the powers of the iota and their answers. Now the complex number. A number consisting of two parts, one real and one imaginary. For real number a and b, like you can express them in the form of complex number a plus b iota. If b is equals to 0, the complex number is reduced to a, which is a pure real number. And if a is equals to 0, then the complex number is reduced to b iota, which is basically a pure imaginary number. In other words, all the numbers real and imaginary are in the set of the complex plane, because in the set of complex plane we will have both type of numbers, reals and the imaginary. The combination of real and the imaginary number make up the complex number system, where first part is the real part and iota part is basically, or the second part is basically the imaginary part. Now, all the numbers can be expressed in terms of the complex number. For example, if you have a real number 3, you can write it in complex plane as 3 plus 0 iota, where the real part is 3 and the imaginary part is 0. Similarly, if you have the complex number, pure complex number, minus 6 iota, you can also write it in complex plane like it is equals to 0 minus 6 iota, where the real part is 0 and the imaginary part is 6 iota. The complex conjugates of a complex number can also be formed, like the conjugate of a number is basically equals to that number with a negative sign. So in case of the complex number, how you will have the conjugate? Here z is basically any complex number. Z is equals to x plus ji jy. Like, then you can also denote the complex conjugate by z steric. Z steric is equals to x minus jy. So to find the conjugate of a complex number, you just need to replace the sign of the imaginary part of the complex number. Now, if two complex numbers are a plus b iota and c plus d iota are equal, they are only equal if their real parts are equal, where a is equals to c and their imaginary parts are equal, b is equals to d. So this is the property of the equality in case of complex numbers, where the real part should be equal to the real part and the imaginary part should be equals to the imaginary part with the same signs also. Properties of the complex number. Just like the real numbers, the complex numbers also obey some of the properties. These are the following properties of the real numbers that hold for the complex numbers. Associative property of addition and multiplication. Like in case of real numbers, if a plus b bracket into c, this is the associative property. Like a plus b multiplied by c is equals to a plus b into c. Like I will show you with the help of this pen. Here you have a plus b plus c. This is equals to a plus brackets b plus c. This is the first property. Second is the commutative property of addition and multiplication. It also holds for the complex numbers. Like commutative law, a plus b equals to b plus a, or a multiplied by b is equals to b multiplied by a. Similarly, the distributive property of multiplication and addition, as I have written here. So these are the basically the properties that are hold in case of complex numbers, and these are basically the properties of the real numbers. So they hold also in case of complex numbers. Now the complex plane. We modify the familiar coordinate system. Coordinate system where upon the horizontal axis we have x and on the vertical axis we have y. Similarly, in case of complex plane, the horizontal axis is basically the real plane and the vertical axis is basically the imaginary plane. Each complex number a plus b iota determines a unique position vector with the initial point 0, 0 and the terminal point a and b. Like I will show you here. This is the real axis. Here are the values 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Similarly, here you have values for the complex plane 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. And this is basically the origin having point 0, 0 as shown here. Now you have a complex number 3 plus 4 iota. How you will represent this number on a complex plane? You will have your real part 1, 2 and 3. This is basically the line for the real part, and the imaginary part is 4 iota 1, 2, 3 and 4, and this is the line for 4 iota. Here this is the point where these two are meeting is 3 plus 4 iota. Similarly, if you have 3 minus 4 iota, this is the line 3 and this is the line of minus 4, this would be the number. Similarly, in both these, if you have minus 3 plus 4 iota, there will be minus 3 on the real axis, and again this is the 4 iota, here you have your number. And similarly, if the both are negative, so this will be the line for minus 3 and this will be the line for minus 4 iota, and this will be the number. So that is how you can represent any complex number upon a complex plane. Graphing on the complex plane, like I have told you in the previous slide, if you have a number minus 2 plus 5 iota, where is exist? Now minus 2, minus 1, minus 2, this is the point, and 5 iota 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here this will be the point. Similarly, if you have 2 plus 2 iota, this will be 2 and this will be 2. So this will be the point 2 plus 2 iota. Similarly, if you have 4 minus 3 iota, 4 positive, this is 4 positive and minus 3 here, here you have basically your number. And similarly, if the both are negative, minus 4, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4 and minus 3, this will be the position where your number lies. So that is the basically sketching or graphing the complex number upon a complex plane. Now the absolute value of a complex number. The absolute value of a complex number is basically the distance of the complex number from its origin to the complex plane where the point is basically lying. If you have a complex number a plus b iota, its absolute value will be given by its determinant. Here you have a square plus b square under root. So this is the example minus 2 plus 5 iota, and you are concerned to find the absolute value or the determinant. So minus 2 square plus 5 square under root 29. And similarly for minus 6 iota, so here the real part is 0. So you will take 0 square plus minus 6 square under root, and you will have the value under root 36, which is equals to the 6. So this is the absolute value of a complex number. Now addition and subtraction of a complex number. Just like real numbers, you can also add and subtract the complex numbers. Add or subtract the real part and then add or subtract the imaginary part. For example, if a plus bi and c plus di are the two complex numbers, how you will add and subtract them? A plus, here it is basically missing, so I will take the pen now. A plus bi, here this is basically c plus di, and if you have to add them, so simply you will do a plus c real part plus b plus d into iota. This is basically the imaginary part. And similarly, if you have to subtract them, a plus bi minus c plus di, so it will becomes a minus c. This is the real part, plus you will have b minus d into imaginary part. Here we have the examples for the addition and subtraction. We have two complex number 4 plus 6 iota plus 3 plus 7 iota, and you are asked to add them. So how will you add? You will add the real numbers 4 plus 3 plus, because of this now you will add the complex number 6 plus 7 into iota. 4 plus 3, it will become 7, plus 6 plus 7, it will becomes 13. So the answer is basically 7 plus 13 iota. Here the answer is basically wrong. Now you are asked to basically subtract the two complex numbers 10 plus 4 iota minus 5 minus 2 iota. So it will become 10 minus 5 plus 4 minus into minus 2. Minus minus becomes plus, and this is iota. So 10 minus 5 will become 5 plus 4 minus into minus 2, it will become 6 iota. One thing is important here, and that is basically while you are subtracting the complex numbers, this sign that is used for the subtraction of the number you will use inside the parenthesis, like here, to subtract the real part and to subtract the imaginary part. While the separating the real and the imaginary part, you will always have the positive sign here. So whichever the sign comes, that will goes here. Like here automatically the sign is positive, but if here is the sign negative, like you have negative 6, then it will become 5 minus 6 iota. So this is basically the addition and the subtraction of the complex numbers. Now the multiplication of the complex numbers. Treat the iotas like variable, then change any that are not in the first power. So what does it mean? For a complex numbers like a plus b iota and c plus d iota, and you are asked to multiply them, so what will we have? A into c plus, because here the sign is plus, b into d. Here basically I will show you like a plus b iota multiply by c plus d iota. Here he have basically directly used the equation. Because of the iota square, here we have the negative sign, but I'll elaborate you how to multiply them. You will multiply a with the c, it will becomes ac plus a multiplied by di, it will becomes a d iota, plus you have b iota into c, this is the third number, and then plus you will have b d iota square. So the final expression will becomes ac minus bd, because for bd you have iota square. Iota square is equals to minus 1, so the negative sign came from the iota square. So that is ac minus bd, which is basically the real part of the multiplication, and then you have plus ad plus bc into imaginary part. Here you have the examples, like here you have two numbers and you are asked to multiply them, 2 plus 3 iota minus 6 minus 2 iota. Now you are multiplying these two. 2 multiplied by minus 6 will become minus 12. Then 2 multiplied by minus 2 would becomes minus 4 iota. Then 3 iota multiplied by minus 6 will become minus 18 iota. And finally 3 iota minus multiplied by 2 iota, it will become minus 3 into 2 6 iota square. Now minus 12 minus 22 iota minus 18, here he has basically added these two in this step. So minus 12, 18 into 4 minus 22, minus 22 iota minus 6, and here the iota square, that is equals to minus 1. So this negative and this negative will becomes positive. Minus 12 plus 6, it will becomes minus 6 minus 22 iota, and this is the answer. Here again you have two numbers, minus iota into 3 plus iota. So it will becomes minus 3 iota and minus iota square. Minus 3 iota minus, and iota square is equals to minus 1, minus minus plus, it will becomes 1 minus 3 iota. So that is how you multiply the complex numbers. Here in this question, here in this question, you have two numbers that are basically multiplied with each other, and one number is this and one number is this. Now that are involved both multiplication and division also. So in multiplication, what will you do? The numbers are basically in the quotient form. You will multiply the numerators and multiply the denominators with each other. So that will become 3 plus 11 iota multiplied by minus 1 plus 2 iota, and at the denominator you will have minus 1 minus 2 iota multiplied by minus 1 plus 2 iota. After multiplication of this, you will have the answer like 3 plus 6 iota minus 11 iota plus 22 iota square, and at the bottom you will have 1 minus 2 iota plus 2 iota minus 4 iota square. So you will put minus 1 in place of iota squares. So the value become minus 3 minus 5 iota minus 22 over 1 plus 4. So it will become minus 25 minus 5 iota over 5. So the final answer is minus 25 over 5 minus 5 iota over 5. So it will become minus 5 minus iota. So again, after multiplication of the two complex numbers, the answer is always a complex number. That is important. So that was all from lecture number 1. Thank you so much.